it's really easy to turn this way, and it's called tuner. Basic. Hey guys, welcome to Basic. Another week, another video. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. You guys are making this thing possible, and I send nothing but love your way. Thank you so much. In this video, we are going to cover 3 basic necessities, or 3 basic tips that are crucial when you guys are starting off as bass players. Number 1, obviously we're going to go over tuning. Number 2, we're going to learn a major scale. And number 3, if you guys stick around, I'm going to reveal it a little later. So stick around, it's going to be a surprise. I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, let's jump right into it. Before I give you guys the 3 tips or reveal the 3 tips, I would like to just explain some very basic things about the bass. Number 1 being, I want to explain or name every part of a bass. Even though there's many different shapes of basses, the anatomy is all the same. Think of it as like a human body. You have a body, a neck, and a head, right? So if this is the human body, this is the body, right here, all this. This is called the neck, this thing right here. And this is the headstock, We'll get into what these are in a little bit. But basically, every bass, guitar, pretty much anything that resembles a string instrument like this one, it's going to have a body, a neck, and a headstock. These are strings, and they're held together by this thing here called the bridge, and they go all the way up to this little guy right here that it's called the nut, and it has little ridges inside that actually hold the strings. They kind of hug the strings together so that when you play it or you pluck it, they don't go everywhere, and it kind of holds them in place. These things up here and these metal knobs here, these are called tuning pegs, and this is what you're going to be using when you want to tune, when you want to change a string. You go counterclockwise on the tuning peg, and it detunes it, and you can actually take it off, and you can change the string that way. So we'll get into it in a second. Another big important thing that I want to cover before I get into the 3 main topics is going to be how to hold your bass, whether you're sitting, you're standing, and kind of a little bit of posture. This is a very beginner course. So when you're sitting down, main thing you want to do is be comfortable. The more comfortable you are, the better you're going to be able to play, you're going to be able to perform, and you're going to just get a lot more out of your practice. So what I like to do, you can use, if you sit down like I'm sitting down at the moment, I have 2 options. I can put it on my right leg, or I can put it on my left leg. Most people would prefer to use the right leg, just because it gives you a little bit more, of an open stance. If you put the bass on your left leg, it's more of a classical kind of approach to the bass. So, but it's completely up to you. It's completely preference. It's preference. Whatever makes you feel more comfortable, whatever makes you feel happy, in a sense. So I personally like to practice like this. Sorry, Sophia, I almost knocked you over. Another way to hold your bass is by standing up and using a strap. For this, the rule of thumb is to have the bass mimic or sit around the same spot as it was when you were sitting. So if you're sitting and it sits around your chest, stomach, that's where you want to be, for the reason that if you practice something, if you're practicing a lick in a certain way as you're sitting down, and if you stand up and it's too low, it's like having to relearn the lick. You won't be able to have the same motion of your fingers. Some guys like to have it up here, some people like to have it around their ankles, and it's totally fine. But rule of thumb is, if you're sitting down practicing, try to have the bass, I guess, lay or hang the same distance as if you were sitting. Rule of thumb, again, if you're going to sit down and practice, try to have the same level of comfort when you're standing up. Another reason to have your bass, you know, as if you were sitting down, is to avoid, if you have it too low, you can strain your wrists. If you have it too high, you know, you're gonna have awkward motions with your hands. So try to avoid that. If you like to play up here, it's fine. If you like to play really low, that's fine as well. I'm just telling you what's comfortable for me and what usually the rule of thumb is. This is called the strap, and this is the one tool that you're gonna need if you want to play standing up. It's very simple, very easy to use. You have two ends. Each end has a slit in here. So my strap is customized to me, so it has this really nice padding. But for the most part, most straps are gonna have more padding on the side that goes on your shoulder, and that's what you want to use to put on this side, on the front of your body. So you just get the one strap, just make sure it's on correctly, like this. Give it a nice tug to make sure. You're gonna get the strap. You're gonna put it over like this. I'm gonna stand up a little bit so you guys can get a better angle. You're gonna grab the other end like this with your hand, and you're just gonna do the same thing you did. And make sure you give a nice tug so you know it's on firmly, because you don't want, the last thing you want to do is you think it's on, you let go of the bass and try to adjust it, and it falls. It has happened to me. I'm speaking to you by experience, and I want to, you know, help you guys avoid a big headache, because it hurts. Okay, and that's how you put on a strap. All right, another great tip before we get started on the 3 main tips I want to teach you guys today is learning how to plug in your instrument. The number one rule is, if you're plugging in to an amp, to a PA system, if you're gonna plug in to whatever you're plugging into, the first thing you want to do is plug in your bass. And I don't know if you can see, there's a little hole here. You know, I don't know what else to call it. I'm sorry. This is called a 1/4-inch cable, and this end, like this, you're gonna put it in here until you hear the little click. Let me do that one more time. So this goes in here, and you're gonna hear it click, and that's how you know it's in fully. You got to make sure it's always in correctly, or else you're gonna get a lot of feedback and you're gonna get just unwanted noises. You have another end, and this is the end that goes into your amplifier, it goes into your mixer, it goes into whatever you're plugging into. And the important thing to remember is, the reason why you are plugging into your bass first is that you're not gonna have any noise on the other end. And if you plug this in first, then your bass or your guitar or your piano or whatever you're plugging in, you're gonna get a really nasty noise that could damage your speakers. It's gonna be unpleasant to listen to. If you're performing, you know, your audience is not gonna appreciate that noise. So once you get this plugged in, you're gonna get the other end, and you're gonna plug in just like that. And you got your your volume, and you're gonna just put it up and ready to play. Hey guys, well, thank you for sticking around. I know I spoke quite a bit towards the beginning of the video, but I felt it was very important for you guys to understand, to get to know the instrument. It's very, very important to get to know anything that you're doing. If you're playing bass, what your bass is, what the bass parts are called, just how your bass works. If it's guitar, the same thing, piano, whatever you do, just get to know your tools of the trade, and it's just going to go a long way, you know, in your development. But without further ado, let's get into tuning. The first tip: you need to learn how to tune in order to be able to play. There's many different ways to tune. You can tune by ear, you could tune using your piano. There's a really efficient way I like to use, just because it's painless. It's really easy to turn this way, and it's called a tuner. You know, one of these things. Tuners come in a million different shapes and sizes. I personally am in love with the clip-on tuner, just like this, and it's very cool. It's very easy to use. You get the clip, and you literally clip it on. I usually clip it on the headstock. You turn it on, and then you tune. Okay. So now, how do I use it once it's on? The main thing to remember is most basses are known for having 4 strings. There's 5-string basses, 6-string basses, 7, 8, even 12, 20-string basses. Let's stick with 4 strings for now. And you want to always tune from the bottom to the top. That's how I always tune, and that's how I find it better. So if you want to go ahead and tune from the top to the bottom, it's totally your call. I was taught to tune from the bottom up. So you have 4 strings. Let me turn this up a little bit, that way you guys could hear. Okay. If you pluck a string by itself, that is called an open string. There are 4 open strings in the bass. The fatter string, the first string, it's called an open E. Okay? So that's an open E. The second string from the top, yes, from the top, that is called an open A. Next string, that's an open D. And last but not least, it's an open G. Okay, so let's recap, and it should be down here somewhere in the video where you're gonna have the names of the strings. So open E, open A, open D, and open G. So we have our tuning pegs, we have our strings, we have our neck, we have our body. If you guys remember at the beginning of the video, I mentioned the tuning pegs. Well, I'm going to show you guys why these things, or these metal contraptions, are so important to a bass. If you hit your string like so, you're going to see that there's a lot of tension in the string. You could hear it. You can hear how it's tuned. If you hit, or you grab onto the tuning peg and you twist clockwise, you're going to start hearing how it detunes, how it starts to lose tension, and eventually you can't hear it, and the string is all over the place. Okay? So, to tune it, we're going to go counterclockwise. You guys hear that magic happening right there? Now And like I said, this is an open E. You get your tuner, make sure it marks E, and that's how it's done. Tip number 2. Congratulations, you have made it through the first one, and now we are moving on. And that is major scales. And today I'm going to teach you the C major scale, which is the scale. It's one of the most important, if not the most important scale in music. Let's jump right into it. And like I said, once you learn the C major scale, since it's very symmetrical, you already learned all the other scales, and I'll demonstrate that. So first of all, we want to know where C is. If you count 2 spaces into, and I apologize, I did not explain what these things are called. These things right here, these little bars that are going down this way, they're called frets. And they're there to help you divide the spaces between the notes. Okay? So if we're counting frets, you're going to count in 2 frets. 1, 2. You're going to hit your open A string, just like that. You're going to use your middle finger. You're going to place that 1, 2 on the 3rd fret on the 2nd open string, and you're going to press down on it like this. And now you're going to pluck it. That is a C chord. Okay? So there are 7 degrees to a scale, 7 notes in a scale, which is going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then back to C. Okay? So how we play it, like I said, you count 3 in, open string, you press down on it, and now we have a C. Now with your pinky, I know this is going to be a bit of a stretch if you're beginning, if you're starting out, but do not be afraid of the pain. It's going to hurt for a little bit, just because your hand might not be used to doing stretches. You know? So you're going to hit this, then with your pinky, you're going to hit a D. Once again, middle finger on a C, pinky on a D. Okay, now with your index finger, we're gonna hit 1, you're gonna count 1, 2, you're gonna count 2 frets, and the 3rd string, which is, if you remember, the open D, the open D string. With your index finger, you're gonna press down on it, and now you have an E. So we have an open E here, and we have a D right here. Okay? Now with your middle finger, again, you're gonna hit what's called an F. Okay? Pinky, once again, you're gonna use it to hit G. Okay, and G is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you notice, I've been using the same string for E, F, and G. Okay? So we have that so far. Now let's start all over again. C, 1, 2, 3. 2nd string. With your pinky, you're going to count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then your pinky. That's a D. With your index finger, you're going to hit an E, which remember is 1, 2. Then you count 1, 2, 3 down. And then on the same string, with your middle finger, F, pinky, G. And now we're going to move on to the final string, which is the open G. You're going to count the same, 1, 2. And now you're going to use your index finger, and you're going to hit it right there. Okay? Ring finger is going to go on a B. So you're going to count to 4 now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. And you're going to end with your pinky. Just like that. Okay? So a little bit faster it goes. gonna play that one more time. Okay, and if you could notice, there is a certain shape that we're using. There's a certain, I guess, formula to playing a scale. So it's 1, you're gonna count. Always you're gonna skip a whole step like this. And then you're gonna go to the bottom string. You're gonna skip a half a step. And you're gonna skip a whole step. Just like that. Okay, one more time. Just so you memorize the shape. The different part of the scale is when you hit the G string. It's gonna be, then you're gonna count. And that's all there is to it. Remember how I said once you learn the C scale, you technically learned all the scales. I'm gonna play the D and the E scale just to give you guys an idea of how exactly similar they are. So the C scale. You guys know that one? The D scale. Same shape, same form, same way of using your fingers, and now the E scale. That's all there is to it, guys. And now to the final tip. The moment we've all been waiting for. The moment you guys stuck around for. Can I get a drum roll, please? All right. So the third tip, and one of the most important tips that I can give you, is mastering your bass face. A good bass face gets you recognition. And as a performer, the more the people come to see you, the better. The more emotion you show, the more the audience is going to connect with you, the more the audience is going to feel your music. So let's begin by the first bass phase you need to master. And this is something I like to call smelling the dirty laundry. So if you're playing, and then you smell the dirty laundry and you go, you know, you don't like the smell, but, and that's the first bass phase. The second bass phase is what I like to call the grounded. You know, and that's when your mom doesn't like something you do and she grounds you. And this is a very important phase to make when you're deep in a groove. So you're playing. And you just got grounded. And that's called the grounded. The third bass phase is very important because it makes your drummer feel special. For the most part, I like to have my drummer to my left-hand side. But if you have them to your right-hand side, it works just the same. This is what the third bass phase consists of. So we're going to play a groove. You know. And then at this point, your drummer's going to do something that's going to catch your eye, and you're going to go like this. Again, you groove it, he does something else. Now all three. Laundry. The grounded. Now the surprise, blindside surprise. And that's the three main tips that you're going to need to kickstart your bass playing career. Thank you for stopping by. Please comment down below. Let me know which one was your favorite bass phase. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. If you have any more bass faces you guys have, please comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to hear. And also, if you guys want me to cover a certain topic, maybe play a certain song, explain a certain groove, please, please, please feel free to comment down below. Thank you guys for watching. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button down below for more content like this. Thank you. Have a great week. See you guys next week.